everyone, welcome back to the Cheap channel, the channel dedicated to all things cheap in the world of fragrances. And today's video, I am beyond excited because we have finally come to another fragrance haul video, and not just any other like the rack store hauls, but this is a haul video that I've been working on for a while because I did a community poll tab where I was asking you guys between 4 different options. Would you rather me have a very hyped clone haul? Would you rather me have a very under the radar clone haul? Would you want a hyped non-clone haul, or would you want under the radar non-clone haul video? And the vast majority of you voted that you wanted to see some non-clone cheapies that were under the radar, maybe things that you haven't heard about, or maybe ones that you've seen around but you just really didn't know what they smell like and you wish that somebody would talk about it. Maybe some of these are it, and there's probably gonna be a couple in here that you've seen other people talk about, or maybe you've heard about or seen, but I haven't. And as far as I'm aware, none of these are clones. There are 8 here, but I actually went through over 10,000 of fragrance nets, all men's and unisex fragrance choices of like over almost 400 pages worth of fragrances. It took me weeks upon weeks just to go through, and I did briefly look at some of the overviewed like fragrance chords or note views, not really looking at anything, just making sure that they were not clones and making sure they also smells like something that'd be a little interesting and maybe something that I would personally wear, because I'm not just gonna buy something if I don't think I'll like it. But majority of these I have no clue what they smell like. Some of these I got like months ago, and I've just been waiting and waiting until I got the second half in, and then waiting more to shoot this video now. But yeah, I'm gonna go through quickly on the ones that I picked out. Like I said, some of them you may already have smelled, you may have seen, but hopefully the majority of these you don't know, because I want them to be like an under the radar thing, that because I'm gonna probably title this video something like, you know, you haven't heard of these, or you haven't seen these, or I guarantee you don't know of these, you know, you don't know about these. But let's go ahead and go through what I have real quick. I have this one by Candies. It is Candies Black. Apparently it's a limited edition, and I have a little story behind that one too, or something I've heard about. I have by Acqua de Pino is Acqua de Pino Cologne by Pino Sylvester. I've been wanting to get this for a while because of Dan from Mr. Smelly. And then right behind it, another kind of masculine one, the one that even though this isn't under the radar, I don't know what it's like. I went ahead and included it because I just want to see maybe someone else out there hasn't smelled it either. But it is by Davidoff, and it is Zino by Davidoff. I've been really wanting to get that one for a while, just kept pushing it off. And I have actually 2 Franck Olivier fragrances here. This one is Franck Olivier Excellence, and as far as I know, again, this one and the one over here are not clones, and Franck Olivier apparently has really good quality on their stuff, but not anybody really talks much about them. And the note breakdown on this looked pretty interesting from what I remember. Then this one by Mauboussin, I think Mauboussin, and it is Star for Men. And I went through a lot of back and forth between which Mauboussin fragrance I wanted, and I settled on that one. This one is the other Franck Olivier one. It is Sun Java Intense for Men, and I'll get into some other stuff about that one as well. Another one here is Aigner #1 Intense, and I really settled, I went back and forth between a lot of other Aigner ones as well. And the last one here is not from an under the radar brand, but a lot of people don't talk about this line, and I've been wanting to get this one for a while. It is by Bentley, and is Bentley Momentum Unlimited. So 8 fragrances here. It may be a long video trying to go through these, but I'm going to try to just quickly tear them open, which I've already gotten plastic wrap off, so that will save me a lot of time and noise. And so I'm going to quickly go through these, spray them, give my first initial impression on them, and then go back through at the end and round everything up and see if it's changed over time and give my ending thoughts on it. But yeah, maybe a long video. Hopefully I can edit it as quick and condensed as as I'm able to. But yeah, let's break into these and see what we think about it. Let me rearrange these just real quick. All right, starting off with the first one here by Candies, and is Candies Black Edition. There's also Candies Red, and there's the original, or not the original, but the revamped original Candies. Apparently the original Candies, I think now it's called Candies, and it has some surname too, because people are getting confused with this one and the original. But apparently the OG Candies was one that was very hyped way back in the day. It's a great quality cheapie. A lot of people liked it, and apparently the people who were fans of it now saw the revamped revamped one. They smelled it, including Ash from Jensen's, because that's how I know is Ash talked about it, and he said it's not as good. But I did see Candies red, and I saw this Candies black, and there's another Candies one as well. And this one to me looked to be the most interesting. So yeah, let's see what we get out of this. And like I said, I already took off all of the cellophane wrapping just to save on time and also to save on noise pollution, because that can be very noisy. All right, so what we have here with Candies is this very, very simple bottle. It has like a taper edge. There's a little gradient to it, which is nice. I mean, it is what it is. It's a cheapie, and I kind of forgot the prices on most of these. Maybe I'll add up or go back on my receipts and at the very end round up everything and tell you what each one costs. But this one I think was like a little over $20, maybe like $21 or $22 or so. So, not bad. Definitely well under 40 mark that I like to keep it at. But yeah, let's see what we think about this. Again, I had to look through, like I said, 10,000 plus, fragrance viewings and the ones that stood out to me. I went in, screenshot it, took notes, and I did go look at Fragrantica, but for majority of this, I still don't know what it smells like. You can look at the note breakdowns all day long and the overview of the notes, and you're still not gonna get really what the profile is about specifically. So yeah, even if I knew the notes, I still don't know what it really smells like. But here we go. Handy dandy tester strip. Let's give it a spray on the first one here and see what we think about it. Pretty good atomizer, actually. It has a nice little push to it. And nothing to that's phenomenal, but it's good for what it was. Let's go in for the smell. The first one here. It's weird. It says the brand's name is Candies, and I'm actually getting a sweet, tart, powdery candy vibe with it, with a little bit of a spice in here. Oh, that is legit like sweet, tart, Smarties kind of powdery sweetness. That is not what I expected. A little spicy as well. It almost has a little bit of reminiscence to something like Lempica Lone back here, or Lempica Homme. And maybe like Armani Code, a little bit, that powdery star anise kind of spiciness. I don't know if there is star anise in here, but it has a little bit of that licorice thing, along with, like I said, a powdery candy sweetness. It's actually drying down a little bit different. Like, it has a little bit of a dark factor to it. Maybe there's patchouli or something like that in here. I think there is. Maybe some woods, maybe some ambers, who knows? But I'm getting this powdery, sweet, spicy on the top here. Actually, yeah, there's patchouli. There's actually a lot of patchouli in here. Now that I recognize it now. Yeah, like a hippie style patchouli. Nothing too loud. It is very subdued, but it's a noticeable patchouli note. Yeah, we'll let that sit, go through the rest of these, and we'll look at it afterwards. But yeah, not a terrible start, but definitely the one that I knew kind of was going to be the least of all of them. But yeah, not bad. All right, the next one here by Pino Silvestre, Acqua di Pino Cologne. I have heard about this one so much from Dan at the Mr. Smelly channel. He talks about it all the time. This one and the other one, I think the Fougere one, but he talked about this one a fair bit. I don't have anything Pino Silvestre, but there are actually, now that I've seen, there are, I think the Pino Silvestre, the other one, the little original green one, and there's a red and blue one. I'm actually thinking about buying all three of them and doing like another haul, but just a Pino Silvestre one of that line, like a blind buy opening haul sometime later in the year. But yeah, it'll be at some point. I know there's my guy, my Pino Silvestre subscriber on here who comments on a lot of videos. He's an avid watcher and viewer and subscriber, and I really do appreciate him. Hopefully he's watching this and will see me open this. But yeah, this one I've heard Dan talk about a whole lot. I know it's gonna be like an old school aromatic citrus, which I'm down for because I love that kind of style. Yep, the bottle just exactly like how well it shows on the back here and how I've seen them in the videos. And this is actually not a 100 ml bottle. This is actually a 125 ml bottle. So you're getting an extra 25 mils out of it. And I believe that it was actually like $16 for this, which is not bad at all. I don't know how much of this is gonna be naturals or synthetics, because I know that this brand tends to smell a little naturalistic, and some people say it smells synthetic, but I beg to differ. I think that they put probably majority of the cost into the juice rather than the presentation, which I would, vouch for more anyway. Acqua di Pino Cologne, I do think it's gonna be very citric, very aromatic, a little bit old school, even though this, I think, came out like within the past like 10 years. So it's probably just a modern interpretation of that older style, but I don't know, we'll see. A little woody maybe. It does have that pine tree thing, maybe a little balsam, like fir kind of thing in there, but we'll see. I have a feeling I'm gonna enjoy this one, but yeah, let's see what we think about it. Oh wow, this actually had a this is a really good atomizer. Like, it was a fine, almost pressurized mist that just, you know, pretty nice. Okay, let's go in for the sniff and see what we think about it. Oh yeah, this is my jam. I love this. This actually doesn't smell too dated. Yeah, like I said, it's like a modern interpretation of probably what they did with the original Acqua di Pino. And there is a Fougere one that I almost got. I'm probably gonna go back and get that because like I said, it's like $16, which is really, really cheap. The quality on this is really good. Very white floral, almost neroli orange blossom on the top, probably petitgrain, something like that in the opening. A little green, aromatic, herbaceous, a lot of citrus, very bright, effervescent, very, very fresh, but very classy, subdued, sophisticated. Perfect for spring, summertime, and like super high heat summer, this would do great with. It's drying down, having a little bit of that powdery, musky style of, you know, that like almost fougere, old school kind of thing, barbershop kind of style. There's probably lavender in here too, but yeah, has a little bit of there's a woodiness coming in. This is very enjoyable. This is gonna, yeah, I'm gonna wear a lot of this. I don't expect this to last all that long. It will probably project pretty well because even as I'm smelling it, it's a little faint. But you know that the mist on this was pretty fine. Maybe I could double, triple, quadruple spray up on this and not worry about it. Because like I said, $16 and 125 mil, they're giving you a little extra because they know that you are going to have to spray a little extra on. But yeah, this is, as soon as it gets to warmer weather, this is going to go in a rotation probably every other week. A little similar to John Barbados Artisan Pure and the original Artisan. Very, very similar. Not as forward with the neroli as that, but it is a little mixture of that in there. Oh yeah, this is fantastic. Like, this is way above Candies over here. This is really, really good. And it was like $5, $6 less than that too. Yeah, highly recommend this. This stuff is fantastic. Okay, on to the next one here and to another old school style one, even though I think this one's gonna smell a little more old school than the Pinot Silvestre one. This one is by Davidoff and it is Zino. I have been really wanting to get this one for a long while. And this one actually came to me without the cellophane wrapping, so it already was ahead of the other ones here. I know that this one has a strong similarity to Beau de Jour by Tom Ford, which is a fragrance I got to try last year in the summertime. Actually, it was on July 4th when I got to try it when I was out of town somewhere. Sprayed it on my hand and enjoyed it for the rest of the day. It smelled so, so, so good. Fell in love with that profile and that style. It is exactly my area, my cup of tea. And when I went on Fragrantica and other places and everyone said that the closer smelling, at least cheapy alternative was this one here, I quickly went to see how much it was. And as far as I saw, it wasn't a whole lot at the time, but it was unavailable, went out of stock frequently. And when it did come back in stock, I was like, I don't want to buy it yet, I'll just wait. And so I kept pushing it off until finally when I did my recent orders for this video, I was like, you know what? I know it's not a under the radar one, but maybe there's someone out there who doesn't know about this because I definitely don't know what it smells like, but I want to try this out. But yeah, Antonio Centeno from Real Men Real Style has talked about this one a good bit. He loves it. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Very cheap cap and all that stuff. And very old school kind of like yellowish plastic. A plastic atomizer and a plastic collar. Chose to spare the expenses with the presentation, but hopefully that means they put the cost into the juice itself. I know this is pretty well known and hyped in the Cheapie community, but again, I haven't smelled it personally, so we're gonna try it out and see what we think about it. Okay, it is similar to it. This has a little more, I don't know if it's patchouli or what, a little more of a funky opening in it. And maybe it is a cheaper opening. I mean, it is gonna be a cheaper, quality than Beau de Jour, but it still has that there, but it's a little more, like I said, patchouli, funky, almost earthy opening to it than Beau de Jour, but it gives the essence of it. I smell it in the air. I think in the air, it's better than what it is on test strip. I don't know, hopefully that will dry off, and as it goes to the dry down, it will be a little closer. I mean, this isn't meant to be a clone of Beau de Jour. Beau de Jour is its own thing. It has its own style with the trend of that barbershop kind of thing. And maybe one day I'll actually end up, shelling out a little bit to get a full bottle, or at least a small bottle of it. But I can't wait to try this on skin and see how it actually does. This is a huge bottle. I think it's like a 4.2 ounce. It was the only size available, but it's okay. I don't mind it, especially if it's one that I will enjoy. I will keep wearing it really often. Very soapy. It does have a weird funkiness in the opening, which I hate. It's not that it's like that, because it kind of does smell a little cheaper than what I wanted. And maybe I had my expectations way too high, but it is there. It has a little bit of an animalic, old school musk to it. A lot of lavender, a lot of aromatics and woodiness, you know, but I actually don't like it as much as the Pinot Silvestre one, but I do have it. I want to try it out, at least for this video, and just see what I thought about it. So there we go. Now to the next one is our first one from Franck Olivier. This one is called Excellence. And this apparently is, an eau de toilette concentration as well. And I kind of have an idea what this one smells like because I do remember the notes on it. I was very excited when I saw it. And apparently this is also very underrated compared to most of the cheapies out there, especially from Franck Olivier. And it's giving me directions here. Apparently this is a built-in atomizer trying to tell me how to use it. So, okay. Oh, this presentation is nice. Okay, so far, the best presentation of the selections. Very heavy, hefty bottle, and it's not metallic, but it's like a plastic metallic feel. It looks good, like it looks solid. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's supposed to be an iris-based fragrance, but we'll go through it, smell it, see what we think about it, what we get from it. Ooh, okay, this is definitely the most interesting one. Wow, I did not expect that. Very powdery, soft, creamy, almost like a light musk. And I know there's iris in here, but I can't smell it as like a very make-up-y, like waxy style of iris. It's very subtle. Okay, the iris is coming through a little more just powdery, like soapy, clean, powdery. A little bit of like a elemy resin kind of thing in the background, like it could become balsamic at some point, a little ambery, but I get like an elemy kind of spike in there. Ooh, this is very interesting. It's actually giving a little bit of similarity to Tommy Hilfiger Impact Intense with the way the elemy resin balsamic woodiness comes out in that. But this is way softer, like a lot more musk powdery lightness in here. Almost like it's trying to be like a second skin kind of thing. This is becoming really nice. This doesn't smell like anything that I know. And like I said, I made sure that these were not clones, but this one definitely doesn't smell like a clone. This is something, I had a feeling that the Franck Olivier is going to come in clutch, and I'm glad I'm not wrong so far. This is one I can see probably wearing most of the year round, probably except for the high heat of summer, like fall and spring. I can really see wearing this. Office safe, like casual, out and about, maybe even on a date if you're lounging with whoever you lounge with, you know, with a special someone or with friends, and you want something that's like a almost second skin kind of thing that's very soft. This is giving me like almost like Commodity kind of vibes by, you know, Commodity, that the brand, the niche one that appears at Sephora. A little bit in that style actually. This is really interesting. Maybe like Ita Libre de Orange, a little bit in their style actually. This is super cool. Yeah, this is gonna be a highlight for me. I love that one. Oh, I can't wait to go back and see what that smells like. Now on to the next one here, and this is Star for Men by Mauboussin. I'm hoping I pronounced that right, Mauboussin. I know there is the Port-Owned by Mauboussin. I think it's like Port-Owned Prestige by them. It has that weird conical kind of shape. You know, I think Alberto Marias did the perfumery for the first one, the original, which was a classic, and someone else did the Prestige one or the flanker from that. I almost got the Prestige one, but I really wanted to try the original, and the original wasn't available. So I went all over all the different fragrances that they had available, and I decided on this one because the note breakdown looked the most interesting out of everything else they had to offer. Wow. This is definitely the most interesting bottle so far. I think this one may have been like almost $30 for this. Maybe it was like $30 or so. Very interesting. I know this one's supposed to be a little darker one, and I did try to pick some that were a little on the darker side because it's gonna be winter and cold for a good little while until we get to the middle or end of March here where I am. I did have some things that are fresher, maybe some things that are either season, but I did wanna wear some that were for right now because I don't have, you know, a lot of newer things for right now. So I wanna have something different. But yeah, here we go. Star for Men by Mauboussin. Let's see what we think about it. Whoa, okay, I'm smelling something very sweet. Whoa, that's interesting. Okay, hold up. Okay, very dark, like dark, woody, patchouli, a little leathery. There's spiciness. There's actually a almost fruity, caramelized sugar sweetness on the top that's not really too sugary. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a spicy sweetness in here, like very spicy sweet, very high quality. This is probably the highest quality one, like the more complex one we've had so far. It's definitely the loudest one we've had so far. Ambery, balsamic, sweet spiciness on the top. Yeah, this is a dark, scent, a darker scent, but way more like mature, like hefty. It has more heft to it. I know it also is an eau de parfum concentration, but it has more of a base to it. It doesn't smell like anything, but it almost smells like something that I'm familiar with, if you get what I mean by that. But move this to the side here. To the next one here, we still have 3 more. We're going through these, or trying to go through these as fast as we can. The next one is another Franck Olivier one, and this one is Franck Olivier Sun Java Intense. I've had my eye on the Sun Java line for a while, but there's so many of them. There's Sun Java the original, Sun Java White, Sun Java I think Blue, and some other ones. But after going through all of them, Sun Java Intense looks like it's the one that is the Goldilocks between everything. It gives you a little bit of the original, a little bit of this one and that, and is maybe one that can be used all year round, not just in the warmer weather, I'm hoping at least. But yeah, I like the other Franck Olivier one we had, and I'm starting to really like Franck Olivier in general as a brand, so let's see how this one is. I know the bottle is very unique. Yep, I do really like the bottle. Because it has a cool little bit of like glass at the bottom that is like a mountain. Yeah, you can feel it inside there too. It's like a mountain. I don't know if it has something to do with the brand or the line it is, but yeah, Sun Java Intense, pretty cool looking bottle. Has I thought it was rubberized, but like a plastic, almost jewel inset with the name on it and all that jazz. Sun Java Intense by Franck Olivier. See what you think about it. I'm really smelling this Mauboussin star over here. I want to put this thing like at the far reaches of the earth to make sure it doesn't get back over here. Okay, not what I expected. I don't know what I'm smelling. Okay, it's not as smooth, subtle as the Excellence one over here. Okay, it's drying down me a little better. Very, almost tropical fruit mixed in with a lot of almost bitter balsamic aromatics, a little bit of sweetness, almost sour. Definitely something that I could see as a signature for actually almost year round. So it is like a year round usability kind of thing, but I definitely could see this in the spring and summertime. A bit of freshness. Okay, it's drying down. A little spicy actually. There's a good bit of spices here and there. It is very interesting. Like I said, there's a weird dark tropical factor to it. I don't mean dark as in just like nighttime, but a deeper tropical, not like fresh, effervescent light, but a more like hefty, denser kind of tropical, like bass notes tropical. Don't know what to feel about this one. Another one that everyone's gonna probably get attracted to immediately. I think it's actually a recent release, but it smells a little old school. But I can see this being a, middle-aged and up kind of signature for the springtime. But all right, we'll leave that be. 2 more over here, so let's get into these. The next one is this one by Aigner. I think it's Aigner. This is a German brand. I did some research on them to make sure that they were not a Middle Eastern clone brand, but they're not. They're a German brand, apparently been around for a while, and they're actually pretty well hyped by some people in the community. But yeah, this is Aigner #1 Intense. I know there's original Aigner #1, which I almost got, but apparently the Intense one is the more intense, in-depth one, apparently one that's a little more rich. Even though this is an eau de toilette and not an eau de parfum, I'm gonna trust that it is supposed to be more intense, but yeah. Okay, okay. This definitely did not arrive the way I wanted it to. You'll see it when I do the close-up on this. It is a rubberized bottle, which is cool, in some aspects, but the #1 and the name on the front did rub off. And I think it's probably from sitting so tight inside that box. I hate that it feels like that because it has almost like graininess too, where it rubbed off from the rubberized part. But again, presentation's not everything. We're here for the smell. Here we go, Aigner #1 Intense. And if I like this one, there's a lot of other Aigners online. These are a little on the more expensive side, almost at the $40 mark. I think this is like $33. So I am expecting this to be better in quality, maybe blend and whatnot than some of these other ones here. But again, I'll have to test it and see. So let's go in for it. Okay, this is another dark one, but it's actually way more smoky than anything else here. Like everything we've had here has been like either maybe a little bit earthy or patchouli or very woody and darker aspects, but this is the one that is a little more smoky. I don't know about it. It smells a little similar to the Mauboussin one, but I think the Mauboussin one over here actually has a little better blend to it, a little more interest. Whoa, okay, this is starting to get way more smoky earthy as it dries down. Maybe it's just the opening. I gotta give it time. You know what? I need to give it I need to give it a little bit of space. Yeah, this is the smoky one. Like patchouli, earthy, smoky. Probably some oud in here as well. Yeah, this is actually reminding me a little bit of Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme Extreme, I think what it is, or maybe it's the Noir one. It's not much citrus, not much freshness. It's more just woody, smoky, earthy, patchouli woods, maybe a little oud or something like that, maybe some leather as well. Probably way more base note heavy, basically. And I mean, I imagine maybe as these sit a little bit, they'll hopefully get a little better. Not my favorite, and unfortunately has not lived up to what I thought it would be as of yet. We'll see. We'll let it sit, we'll let it do its thing as we go on to our next one. Now on to the last one here, and it's one that I put at the very end because I just trusted it. This brand has not failed me yet. I don't care what line I buy from them. They're going to bring the quality. They're going to bring the expectation. It is by Bentley, and this one is Bentley Momentum Unlimited. I did want to get Bentley Momentum Unbreakable, but that one was a little over the price what I wanted for the total of some stuff. But this one actually fit pretty well within that. I think it's like maybe a little over $30 or so. I already have Bentley Momentum Intense, and maybe at some point I'll get the original Bentley Momentum just so I can cover the whole line. But yeah, this one was one of them I was also really wanting for a while. The same kind of style presentation as the rest of the Bentley Momentum line, but a little more bling to it, a little more shiny. So what I'm expecting with this one, because of the colorization, I'm expecting it to be a lot more fresh than the intense version. I think Unbreakable has like more of a mineralic kind of thing to it or something like that, but this one I think is gonna be a lot more fresh, a lot more brisk, and probably something for more spring, summertime, maybe fall, we'll just see about it. But yeah, I have no doubt that it's gonna be phenomenal quality. Let's go in and spray and see what we think about it. Oh yeah, yeah. Very, very fresh. A little sweet, almost fruity citric sweetness in the opening. Very bright, effervescent, a tad bit maybe aromatic. Very ozonic, musky, like expansive freshness. Very, very, very clean. Actually has a little reminiscence to like YSL YEDP. But without like a lot of the aldehydic qualities that YET and EDP have. Yeah, it's very, very clean. There's another fragrance that this really, really, really reminds me of that I either have or used to have. Not as rich, complex, deep, and nuanced as the intense version, and probably not even as much so as the Unbreakable flanker, which I am going to get eventually because I want the whole line because that's what I do. Yeah, like this. Really, really like this. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna walk out of the room, give my nose a break, let these kind of sit and mingle and, you know, get to know each other a little bit, and then we'll come back, smell everything, go through the note breakdowns, and at least as brief as I can, and see how you match up on everything. But yeah, see you in just a bit. And I am back, so let's go ahead and go through these one by one, back from the start, the way we did it. And I have my phone out, so we're gonna go through Fragrantica and see if we can pick out the notes and if we were kind of accurate on the note breakdown and kind of get an idea of what we were smelling. Starting off with the first one we did, which was Candies Black. Let's just see what kind of think about it again. A lot more of that powdery, like it legit smells like Sweet Tarts or Smarties powder candy, which I guess is kind of going with the name Candies, and maybe that's the kind of theme they're going with here. And still a bit patchouli in there. I think there is patchouli in this. I'm almost pretty well certain. Top notes are black pepper and mandarin. Middle notes are leather and neroli. Base notes are patchouli and vanilla. I get maybe patchouli vanilla, which is weird with base notes, and usually base notes don't pick up on test strip, but I get powdery sweet. Okay, I'm gonna wear this on skin at some point recent or soon, and so I will hopefully update everybody on how it actually is, but I'm not getting this at all unless my nose just shot for some reason. Okay, on to the next one, which was the Acqua de Pino cologne by Pino Silvestre. I really like this one. I hope it's still on the test strip. It is. A lot more of the neroli, like white floral orange blossom kind of feel, a little beachy, you know. I mean, maybe the pedigree is doing that. Still green, aromatic, a little woody. This is still super nice. I like this one. Something about this just makes me smile. Yeah, it came out in 2021, so it is like a more modern version of things that Pinot Silvestre usually do. Top notes are lemon, orange, rosemary, and Calabrian bergamot. Middle notes are ginger, iris, green notes, and sage. Base notes are cedar and musk. Yeah. Citrus aromatics is basically what it is. And it's smooth. I like this. This is really, really nice. I mean, I don't get a whole lot of iris, maybe a little bit of a powdery nuance underneath, but I would not contribute that to iris. I would just think it's a kind of musk that was in there. Oh yeah, this is one I am going to put in my summer cheapies video of this year, and I'm going to spray this thing up heavily as soon as it hits warmer weather. Now on to the next one here. It was Zino by Davidoff. Apparently very similar to Beau de Jour by Tom Ford, and originally when I was smelling it, it had a weird funkiness to it, which I did not quite like. It was a little cheap, but also just funky in general. So let's see if it has dried down and changed at all. A little bit, has a little bit of a leathery nuance to it. Earthiness in here, maybe that's patchouli. Still has some funkiness, which is weird. Yeah, I know there's like older batches and old vintage bottles of this that are available that I may get that people say are way better. Some people say the newer bottles aren't that great, but you know, the batch variation people on the, you know, everywhere, all over online. But I do kind of want to get a vintage bottle to see what it's like. Top notes are Brazilian rosewood, so there's a rosewoodiness, lavender, clary sage, bergamot. Middle notes are rose, so more rose, geranium, jasmine, and lily of the valley. And base notes are patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, and cedar. There's a lot of patchouli in this, but I guess there's no leather, but for some reason it has a almost animalic feel. Maybe that's where the earthy balsamic style is coming from. I'm gonna give it a chance. I am going to give it a chance, man. I'm gonna give this whole 42 ounce bottle here a chance. The next one was one that I still hope I really like. It's Excellence by Franck Olivier. Of course, I love this bottle. It is hefty, but this is one that had like a second skin or skin scent kind of thing. Like soft, musky, powdery. It is apparently an iris note, but it was to me, it wasn't too like makeup-y. It was just very like soft powder. Still there, but it has a little balsamic, elmy thing in the background. I really like this one. This is gonna be a hidden gem one for me among everything here and especially in my collection. Top notes are sandalwood and iris. Usually sandalwood is not a top note, so I don't know how they did that. Middle notes are incense and cedar. I don't get any muskiness in here, and base notes are musk and black pepper. No elemi, but it is unmistakably an elemi, balsamic, resin, ambery kind of style to it. And it does add some spice to it, but that, of course, black pepper is in here. I like this. This is really cool. Highly recommend trying this out. Again, it's not a waxy, like makeup-y kind of style of iris. It's very subtle and powdery. Okay, the next one we tried was this one by Mauboussin, I think, or Mauboussin, with the most interesting bottle of everything here called Star for Men. And this one I actually did really like. Very interesting. Smelled similar to something, but yet I didn't know what it was. But let's see if it's developed and see what it's like. Ooh, it has developed. It's gotten more ambery sweet, like a deep sweetness with a little more depth to it. There's still a leather facet in here. A little bit of an animalic, suede-ish kind of leather. This is really cool. This one and the Excellence one are probably gonna be some of my favorites out of this whole thing. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, this is actually very recent. It came out in 2024. I thought it was a little older than that, but okay. Top notes are cardamom and black pepper. Middle notes are incense and saffron. So there's some spicy and, you know, smokiness in there. And base notes are vanilla, white amber, patchouli, iris, and cedar. So it's way more base heavy. So on skin, this should be way more hefty and develop more. You know what it smells similar to? I almost want to say Parfum Marie's Leighton. A little similar to that, but nowhere near the exact profile. But it has a far off whisper of that. And you know what? Everyone says this was similar to here. The first thing is Leighton, and then Pure Havana, and Lilique White and Black, and Boss Bottled Absolute and Detour Noir. It's like a mixture of all of those, which is interesting. I mean, imagine Leighton and Pure Havana mixed together. That's pretty cool. I dig this. This is super cool. Yeah, this is the one I'm going to be wearing a whole lot in this wintertime. This and Excellence here, man. This is great stuff. Okay, the next one was another my Franck Olivier, and it was Sun Java Intense. Love the bottle, even though it's kind of hard to take the top off at first, and hopefully it doesn't keep giving me trouble. But at first I wasn't sure what to think about it. It smelled a little tropical, but very herbal, aromatic, and almost sour, bitter. But let's see if maybe it's dried down, makes something a little different. Oh yeah, it's way different now. Way smoother, way better. Yeah, it's gotten to be still very aromatic, a little herby, spicy, slightly sweet. I'm starting to see what the profile is going toward now. 2019, so very recent. Top notes are peppermint, orange, mandarin orange, and bergamot, so very orangey on the top. Middle notes are pepper, rose, olibanum, also known as frankincense, which can give a little bit of a smokiness, saffron, and geranium. And base notes are amber, tobacco, musk, cedar, and Brazilian rosewood. So 2 fragrances in here that have Brazilian rosewood. So a very fleshed out note breakdown that's a little different than what you'd expect, especially if you're looking at Sun Java. You think it's going to be very fruity tropical, but the note breakdown is totally different, like a little more on the darker side. Yeah, this is very interesting. It's getting more ambery now, a little darker, aromatic, like herbaceous, but still a little spice in there, a little woody, still very musky. This is very interesting, way better on the dry down than it was in the opening. And I imagine, again, on skin, it'll probably be a lot smoother. But yeah, I do like this a lot more now. This is one I'm probably going to wear a lot in springtime. I can see that. The next one was one that I wasn't so sure about. It was the Aigner #1 Intense. And of course, the bottle, rubberized, cool, but then it got messed up. And the fragrance was the smokiest one out of all the ones here, but also the one that kind of disappointed me a little bit because I had high expectations. Is almost a little more on the expensive side among everything here besides the Bentley, but hopefully it will smooth out. Let's see what we think about it. Okay, at first it has a little bit of a cheap smell to it, not gonna lie, but as you keep smelling it, it actually develops more notes. 2013, so it's a little bit of an older release. Top notes are citruses. So all the citruses apparently, that's the only thing. Middle notes are cinnamon and amber. Base notes are agarwood or oud, patchouli, and vetiver. So a little simplistic note breakdown. Definitely not as extensive as Sun Java Intense over here. It has a pretty nice smokiness actually as you really get into it. It's not bad, but I just hate it's not as full. Definitely not as full feeling as Star over here by Mauboussin, but you know, it's okay. But I will continue to try this out and see what I think about it as we go on. Now the last one here, Bentley Momentum Unlimited. I did like this one. This is the fresh one. Oh yeah, that's clean. That's very clean. That is so reminding me of a fragrance that I've either smelled, have, or had, or something. Top notes are green apple, grapefruit, and cardamom. Middle notes are vetiver, cedar, and sandalwood. Base notes are leather and broxen and musk. So a pretty generic fresh note breakdown, you know. It gives you a little bit of blue fragrance vibes. Oh man, the smells really similar to something. Let me go in the smells like section. That's what it is. It is Star Walker by Mont Blanc. Yes, I never thought that anything could smell like Star Walker. This smells like Star Walker, which also means it smells like Versace Mano Fraiche. So yeah, it is Star Walker. That is actually kind of cool. Star Walker is way more green than this though. Way more old school smelling than this. It has those like early mid 2000s kind of style of musks. This doesn't have that. This is probably a little, if you want a more modern, cleaned up version of Star Walker, it'd be this. Don't know how it compares as far as you know, performance in that one, but is it redundant? Maybe. This has a little more of a modern woodiness than that one. That one's a little more fresh green. It has that bamboo note as well, which gives a little bit of a, you know, kind of wet dew kind of smell. But yeah, that's what it definitely reminds me of. Yeah. That's right on it actually. A more blue fragrance version of Star Walker by Mont Blanc would be this one here, Bentley Momentum Unlimited. But yeah, Do like it. My favorite so far though, if I had to say, would definitely be Acqua de Pino cologne by Pino Sylvester, Excellence by Franck Olivier, and Star Men by Mauboussin, with a close runner-up being Bentley Momentum Unlimited and Franck Olivier Java for Men Intense, or sorry, Sun Java Intense. Everything else is still good, but I want to try them on skin to see how they actually are. These, I have a feeling, are a little closer to how they developed on a test strip, and if they're any better on skin, I will have a great time. Really did enjoy these. I hope you all enjoyed these as well, because I did this because I want to help you all discover something new, and hopefully you all did discover something new. All right, guys, there we go. The 8 fragrances that I did a blind buy haul in of under the radar. Hopefully most of these at least are under the radar, non-clone cheapies. And sometime later in the year, I am going to do another clone haul video, and I'll try to do clone reviews and things here and there. But my goal this year is to show you fragrances that maybe you haven't heard of or haven't thought about, or maybe people out there aren't talking about as much or not appreciating. I want to show you something that you haven't seen before. I mean, the fragrance community is oversaturated in clones, and really the whole fragrance world in general is oversaturated in flanker after flanker, clone after clone. And I kind of want to go and find the hidden gems, the diamonds in the rough fragrances that no one talks about or people overlook, or just things that no one is going to discover unless someone brings and digs it up and shows them. And hopefully this year, that is my goal, is to show you things that you're not going to get on any other channel or any other platform or on TikTok or whatever, that these are the ones that hopefully are under the radar to you. I know some of them are to me, and I will definitely be wearing a lot of these this year. But yeah, let me know what you think about this video, the haul, any of these fragrances. Have you tried them? Have you looked for them? Maybe you have questions about it or you're looking into it. Let me know all what you think down in the comments below. And if there are any fragrances that you consider under the radar, maybe you haven't seen anybody else talk about, or you haven't even seen me talk about, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I can have a chance to pick it up and then maybe let you know what I think about it and show it off to other people, and maybe try to keep it within ourselves and our little secrets that we have here. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did and you want to see more of this kind of stuff throughout the year, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you have enjoyed it and you want to see more and you want to support the channel. And as usual, if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, but you like what you've seen here, or you learned something here and you like what you've seen maybe elsewhere on the channel, I encourage you to please consider supporting this channel by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see all the other things that I'm working on and planning in the background all the way throughout the year. I'd love for you to be right along with me on this cheap and inexpensive fragrance journey. And hey, maybe I can even help you discover something new along the way. And as always, guys, that's all I have for today's video. Again, thank you for being here and for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you saw something new here and maybe something that you can add to your cart on the next order. I will see all of you again in the next video. Be blessed.